Good morning. We are seeing a lot of statements coming from federal government declaring Ekpa arrest, and Ekpa has reacted furiously that they should not dare him. What does this portend for Ekpa, Nnamdi Kanu, and of course Biafra this time around?
That's what keeps the flame of Biafra aglow. The flame is burning and burning, and the smoke is billowing high and higher. That's what, do you know what I mean? And even that we don't have somebody like simonekpa that lives in Finland, Biafra flames would have been killed off. Nobody will be hearing about Biafra again. Because the more Nigerian government silence the IPOB agitators, Biafra agitators, IPOBs in the southeastern Nigeria, the more the flame of Biafra, aglows. The smoke, billows to the sky. You know what I mean? Simonekpa is showcasing, selling Nigeria around the globe the way selling Biafra around the globe the way it should be. Then, thereby bringing Nigerian popularity to the mud. Nigerian government is annihilating the Igbos, treating the Igbos as slaves. Though they have seen us, each and every government that comes and goes in Nigeria, as their slaves. But this man, young man, Ekpa, is doing much to make sure that Biafra is showcased to the whole world. See, let me tell you, he lives in Finland. Nigerian army, they want him arrested. I think you understand what I'm saying. And had it been Finland did not go through what Biafra is going now, I think they would have at least since rendered Ekpa to federal government of Nigeria. But today, what Nigerian government doesn't know is that I'm trying to tell them that history matters. If you don't read history, your brain is empty. They don't know that the former USSR, Finland was one of their, at least, provinces before. It's part of USSR. Not until the separation of the 16 federatives in 1990-91. I mean before then. But Finland took it upon themselves. They worked hard and made sure that Scandinavia, Europe will never ever, no part of them will be, taken by USSR. Finland fought hard, agitated for their own sovereignty, and today Finland is being on their own. So whatever Colonel Musa, Tinubu, and co should tell Finland has known about it because they experienced what I am experiencing now as an Igbo man. A man that is a stranger in Nigeria is an Igbo man. A man that is telling Nigeria that the highest lie, pathological lie you can talk or tell the whole world is that we are one Nigeria. We are not united Nigeria. Nigeria is for Hausa and Yoruba. They mess the country up on our own, spoiling the economy to the level that no investor is happy today in Nigeria. Some of them, they have gone to Ghana. I mean foreign investors. What these people are after is buying SUV Jeep that cost $250,000. They are minding only their progresses. They don't mind the citizens. Nigerian citizens are hungry, going down on daily basis, no job. These people in government are abusing, buying presidential jets. What happened to our presidential jets? You have fleet of them. The one Obasanjo used, the one Jonathan used, the most uneducated president in the world, I mean the former Nigerian president used, is there. Why buying another one? What they know is only their good, their benefit, while Nigerians are going down. Let me tell you, let me cite examples that will shock the world. Do you know that what is going on in Burkina Faso now is shocking even the white world? The West is talking about Traore. Ibrahim Traore is moving Burkina Faso forward. Ibrahim Traore has cut the government salaries, I mean public office holder salaries in Burkina Faso. And he has ventured into agricultural revolution in Burkina Faso. Agriculture is it. Creating jobs for the youth. Everything about food in Burkina Faso now is picking up. I could remember the Marxist ideology, theory. Food first. After God, number one thing in the world anywhere is food. People eat well, they will reason well. People eat well, they will not go and steal. People eat well, there will be no hate. People eat well, physically and morally they will be sound. Nigerians are not eating well, they are stealing. Only politicians are feeding fat. Why? See, we have problem on the continent of Africa. Likewise, other countries. Zambia, look at how many soup he bought for the public office holders in Zambia. 1,000 pieces each cost $200,000.
Now, okay.
Why not pumping that amount he used for those soups and into the economy, or create industries, embark on industrial revolution in Zambia, and everything in that country will pick up in terms of social amenities, in terms of employment establishments, at least, so that people will work. Food will be very, very surplus there, but they only mind their businesses, their family, their children, everything for themselves. Let me cite another example. Do you know that the poorest president ever ruled in the world is Jose Mojica of Uruguay? He is having only first wage in today. Uruguay's president's salary was $12,000. He refused to collect. He said, no, why should I be collecting $12,000 and Uruguayans, the citizens of this country, are suffering? He reduced the salary to nothing. He still used first wage. He said, if I am satisfied and Uruguayans are satisfied, I will be the happiest person on the earth. This man, he mortified his flesh for the Uruguayans to grow fat. And today, Oga, his name is a household name globally. Everybody is praising him because of the kind of selflessness, attitude he showed to his country. See, let me tell you, Africa continent, leadership is the problem we have. Political leaders in Africa, they need to brace it up that one day Arab revolts or uproar that occurred in 2011 is coming to Africa. Okay. And when it happens, we are going to get it right.
Okay, you can see a lot of argument, debate, uncertainty, dislike over the scandalous means of trying to create states where they are not supposed to. And people are speculating that these things are geared towards bringing the Igbo influence spreading to a halt. How do you see the calculation now flowing up and down about the issue of state creation?
State creation is not it. It's not it. What I was even thinking is the regionalism, which of course, it has to do with confederacy, confederation, meaning each region should be controlling their resources. I think you understand me. So creating states does not bring about regionalism. Creating states as how? The way they want to create it, if you look at it, they are still on the side of marginalization of the Igbos. Let me tell you how that springs up. How are you going to carve out Asian? Carve out Ikoko Edo or Ikoko Ado, where Edo State and the Ondo State are having border. They speak Yoruba there. How could you carve out Kaba and give Yoruba, that's Nkwara Axis? Then you could not carve out, you have not planned carving out Idoma, Egala in Benue State, Igede in Benue State, and give Enugu State. Of course, these people are Igbo. Then how could you allow the Galas in Anambra State? They will just go like that to Kogi. How could you allow the name base, the Kwares, the Fadede area where the LL side, Ohajagbama area that border Port Harcourt, they are all Igbos. Okay, how could you allow that to happen? They are not giving it to Igbos. Do you know where it's heading to? They are leaving us only 5 states, coming up with idea of creating Olu State. Is Olu a popular place in Igbo more than Abagana or Yago Abagana? Do you know that there are communities in Igbo land that are more popular than Lagos State? Are you not thinking about Onitsha and the Nnewi? Why not to Nnewi State? Nnewi is a production industrial hub of Africa. Okay, they are manufactured car. What about Abenyimba City? Abenyimba City is a industrial hub in Africa. I don't mean Nigeria. Why not Aba State? Every policy that comes out from federal government is kill them. Match Igbo man on the head. Sobuoha, Tibuoha. Aba Olu State. Uzodema is at the helm of what is going on now. Uzodema and Ugo Chinyere. Rochas Okoroewu Hausa is with them, so that Olu will become a state of their own. Okay? Ask every Igbo man. Olu is very big, we know. But the most popular we are talking about, that anytime you talk about that city, they would say, yes, is Abenyimba state. Followed by Oyagwa Bagana. The most popular, you know what happened at Oyagwa Bagana now? That makes it more popular. Go and ask the Obasanjos and the rest of the Buharis, those ones that took part in the Biafra, Nigerian Biafra Civil War, they will tell you much about Abagana. I listen to me, Etiti State, Njaba State, not Olu. I listen to me. And the cover to those Igbo speaking deltas, give it to us. I listen to me. You will live in Banke, live Umunede, live in Asab and the rest of them. Oromili, yes, is Igbo self. Oromili now. And many of them. I don't know whether I understand where Nzogo comes from. Is Asaba now? That's the Opamu. You will leave them and leave them and call them West or Midwest. Oga? Do you know where they are heading to? They want to soft pedal the emancipation of Biafra. See, our mind is in Biafra. No need of dividing states or giving us Olu state or Aba state. No, we need Biafra to go. Let us see the reason why somebody should be calling me or telling me that I, from Anambra State, we are one Nigeria. Which one Nigeria? Anambra State man won election, the whole world know. Yoruba voted for him. Today, what are they doing? They are singing another tone. Awalawa, Awalawa, let's just leave him. Oh, it is our man. Buruburu, Tiwantiwa. See, Nigeria is not one. Let Biafra go. I'm not supporting regionalism over there.
Okay, one more thing. There is news spreading that federal government arrest squad that was sent to Finland to arrest or kidnap Simonekpa met their Waterloo as Simonekpa intelligence unit intercepted them, and currently now those squads now are nowhere to be found. How would you react to that?
That's good. That's a good incentive. It's a gift. It's a prize. It's a reward from above. It's a good incentive from above. God has done it again. Those people, the squad, whatever they call themselves, that went to Finland to arrest Simonekpa, don't they think? I think that some people are boasting of being think tank in Nigeria. There are so many political terminologies that are so, job breaking and tongue twisting, claiming that they know much, they are much intelligent. How could you dare that? How could you dare Simonekpa? Simonekpa is a military man. He fought for Finland. He worked in Finland in the army. What can you do if you embark on that mission? Oga, suicidal is it? You are heading for suicide. So if they could do that, Oga, there's nothing Nigerian government could not do. If Nigerian government could risk cloning Buhari that died in 2017, Oga, they can risk cloning Adam Ochomole and claim that he is Tinubu. After all, their height are the same. And the what about Yemi Ochimanjo? If anything happened to Yemi today, if these people could send some squad to go and arrest Simonekpa in Finland, it means they could claim Yemi Ochimanjo again and tell us that he's Tinubu. See, let me tell you, those squads, they actually not meet only their Waterloo. They are drinking poto as water now. The way the Abia boys, the Enyimba City people, the Ngba people drank poto during Operation Egweke Python dance. They are dancing Python dance at the Finland border now. Because what Igbo man is doing is right. I am doing agitation on my own. When we were Mazob, under Mazob, Wazulika was doing his own. Mazob doesn't use stick. Nigerian government under Buhari Muhammad used gun by force against the agitators. He sent military operation after the war. That kind of military operation has never happened in Igbo before. They went to a palace of Mazi Israel Kanu, and they secreted that palace, killed many boys, Igbo boys on that palace, not knowing that the whole world is watching. That day the compound was bugged. I want to just give this as a classified information to Nigeria. Drones were everywhere. Cameras were mounted everywhere. The EU were watching live. Because Nnamdi Kanu, you see, is not a small person. You think the guy is a dunce? EU, most of His colleagues in Europe, they threw it out. In most of the social media or media houses in Europe, they were watching live Operation Egweke, Operation Python Dance on Nnamdi Kanu's palace. Nigerian army did not know this. So I don't need to tell Britain that what they are doing is bad. Afonjo, I don't need to tell Finland that Finland is doing good job, because Finland has been, seeing what is happening in Biafra today as part of an experience they went through in the past. That's why they can never ever render simonekpa. Those people that went to Finland to arrest simonekpa, Ndonu, sorry, you have met what you actually deserve.
Is it true there were forces that tried to release Nnamdi Kanu, escaping from DSS custody? Though a lot of people have said that story is not correct. Was it linked to the same squad that intercepted federal government squad arrest in Finland?
If it is, I can never tell anybody now, because that could be regarded as leaking out information to people. And I cannot actually tell about it because I don't know. I don't know. Even if there is, I will never tell anybody, because all I need now is for my brother to come out. See, if anything happens to Hausa man, if you have misunderstanding with Yoruba man will not ask what is going on. They will start fighting you. If you ask them, they will tell you, say, now my brother. If your Hausa man is fighting an Igbo man, the rest of the Hausas along, they will come. Fighting Igbo man without asking why. Not knowing that the Hausa man is at fault or the Igbo man is at fault. They don't want to know. Hausa man will tell you, is my brother. Nnamdi Kanu is my brother. He's supposed to be out. If you ask me, thank you.
You see that the court has issued a warning to the DSS man, chairman, about disobeying court order on Nnamdi Kanu's access to his lawyers and other things. And recently, we saw there was an assassinated attempt by the DSS, and that was what led to a major newspaper carrying out a news story that Nnamdi Kanu escaped. But it has been discovered that it's possibly an assassination attempt by the DSS. What's your reaction on that?
Over the years, we've seen DSS as a member of Nigerian forces that is becoming, ruthless by their modus of operation. See, the issue about allowing his lawyers, families to access to him, I think started when he was arrested in 2014, 2015, and on 2017 he was released. And same 2017, I think, they invaded his compound at Ahiruku community, his father's palace. So again, what we are seeing here is that DSS is the one that is playing the role of Nigeria judiciary now, because it is extrajudicial to disobey the law. I mean, especially the court order. The DSS authority is flouting court order in Nigeria in this regard. The appeal court gave order to release him, they still hold him. Then again, there's another issue. They are trying to orchestrate an assassination and create such story out that Nnamdi Kanu is about or was about escaping. So we envisage death, we envisage assassination or other means of elimination of Nnamdi Kanu, and we are now being apprehensive that something like that is going on the ground. And the entire Igbos, within and without Nigeria, is sounding our warning to federal government of Nigeria not to at least make any attempt on Nnamdi Kanu's life. DSS should retract all their efforts to secretly take his life. Yes. Because if they do, they will blame themselves.
Blaming it on assassination attempt, which has failed.
Yeah, which has already failed.
Thank you.
Yeah.